Oh, hi. Fancy meeting you here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. We're just doing some stargazing here. Is that what you've come for? Some stargazing? Well, I think we've got that covered. Here's the last 24 hours of the closest star. El Sol, Helios, whatever you'd like to call it. Today, that's 304 plus 171 angstroms. Let's get rid of the 171 and look at 304 plus 193. There are an inordinate number of filaments currently in the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. You can expect to see coronal mass ejections with basically zero warning. Remember, folks, you don't need to see sunspots or even solar flares to see coronal mass ejections. They can happen even at time of solar minimum when there are zero sunspots. We've covered it repeatedly on the channel. And congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Here's yesterday plus today in SDO intensity gram. We still do have quite a large number of sunspots, although a large number are setting in the northwest. That is probably the most likely place to see major solar flares. We do have a little bit of growth down here, a little bit of consolidation up here. Besides that, most of these groups have been stable, a little growth over here, and a little bit of indecision down here. SDO magnetogram in colorized mode should help a little bit with seeing those active regions and the magnetic fields associated there. Let's take a brief look at volcanoes, since indeed we're seeing some new ones on the list here, some that I've never heard of before and that I took some time to try to figure out how to pronounce. Sakurajima is erupting, producing a 6,000-foot ash plume. Subanosejima producing a 6,000-foot ash plume. Tangkuban Parahu. Let me try that again. Tangkuban Parahu on West Java. Now showing up in the list here. Volcanic alert level remains at 1 there. There is some activities like the smell of sulfur, some increased emissions, also some hot gas and liquid, possibly magma, and some nighttime glowing happening there at that East Javan volcano. Also bromo on the list. Bro, don't pole vault bromo. If you're going on vacation to see volcanoes, leave your vault pole at home, as this one is remaining in an elevated state. So bromo on East Java also elevated there, and Semeru erupting, producing a 15,000-foot ash plume. So East Java, one of the world's volcanic hotspots. Also Kerinci, eruption reported by a ground observer there on Sumatra. Popocatépetl exploding in central Mexico, flight level 220. It's a 22,000-foot ash plume. Fuego in Guatemala exploding, flight level 150. It's a 15,000-foot ash plume. Revenador in Ecuador. Also Cotopaxi, 13,000-foot ash plume and 21,000-foot ash plume, respectively there. In Sabancaya, intermittent emissions, a 24,000-foot ash plume as Sabancaya explodes in Peru. Next, global seismicity. We've had quite a low number of earthquakes over the past 24 hours. There's your 90-day bar graph, and here is your list. Couple quakes here over a 5 magnitude, like this 5.0 in Romania. That was at 14:58 Universal Time yesterday. We also had a 5.1 in Chad. That quake occurred in Chad. Okay? Chad. That was at 1838, and that was a 5.1 magnitude. Also, Vanuatu there had a 5.2 that occurred at 2:03 this morning. And a little uptick here. Oh, it looks like that Romanian earthquake was a foreshock, so a prime example there. 5.0 in Palu, Indonesia also at 6:02 this morning, and at 13:16 this afternoon Universal Time, a 5.5 at Romania. So there you go, a perfect example of a foreshock and then a larger quake. 5.5 magnitude. Before we get back to space, a quick reminder, if you'd like to support the channel, become a member of the Smash Team, smashomash.com/Smash Team. That's the official subscription services site of the channel. We are also on Patreon. We're all over the internet. Make sure you check out our links below the video. You'll find all kinds of links in the description. And you can save some cash in various ways there as well. smashomash.com/smash team. And thanks for leaving a comment, Cookie Spacey. Good morning to you as well. Thanks to our gold and silver Smash Team members, especially for supporting the content. We've got some new hardware coming soon as a result of your support. So thanks for that. The heck? If you visit the links below the video, you'll also find a link to our Redbubble shop. That link will show you our products in order of best selling. Today's featured product is our latest release. And if you're wondering why there's been zero accountability where you're located, make sure you let us know in the comments. Tell us all about the zero accountability in your location. Are you living in a former nation, now banana republic? Why is there no accountability? Why is there rampant corporatism and plutocracy? Are you living in a corporatist anarchy? I know, right? It's very interesting. There's zero accountability because reasons. So that's part of the reason why we put up this product. It features the burning earth, a certain viral agent that a lot of people are aware of, also intercontinental ballistic nuclear missiles, a syringe, a mask, and don't forget the CDC logo snuck in there. We put all that on the design because reasons, and congratulations on surviving a global scamdemic so far. You've done a fine job in not being dead. Getting back to space here are the last 24 hours of El Sol. And let's add 335 angstroms to the 171 angstroms to add a little depth to the corona. Potential for large flares remains in existence. We've seen a major dip in the radio flux as some large sunspot groups have set in the northwest. We'll show you more detailed imagery of that in a minute. 10.7 centimeter radio flux is currently at 189 solar flux units. There's the 1-year graph to put that in context. The black line is the radio flux. The red line is the sunspot number. As we watch solar cycle 25 continue to ramp up and up and up into the stratosphere. Next, Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard here forecasting a little bit of geomagnetic unrest late in the day today and early in the day tomorrow. Why, you ask? I suspect it's probably from a coronal hole high-speed stream, but it doesn't say in the description there. So let's just move on to look at geomagnetism. Global geomagnetism currently at 2.33. That's the planetary K index. And by the way, Earth's magnetic moment from space is jacked up right now because we've got a lot of missing data on the real-time solar wind. That's only going to show you like an hour of data instead of 4 hours. We'll spend limited time on that and on ground magnetic perturbations. So, by the way, we did share some auroral imagery. We'll show you where later in the video. There's our real-time solar wind, which is missing almost exactly 12 hours of data. Current conditions are 361 kilometers per second for the solar wind speed, and around 4 protons per cubic centimeter for the solar wind density. Next, looking at magnetic data, there are your GOES 16 and GOES 18 magnetometers. And next, we'll look at the heliospheric current sheet. This is one of the most important pieces of data that you could possibly look at in order to forecast solar activity. And I would note that the north solar polar field has still not migrated off of the north solar heliographic pole. You can still see significant North Pole magnetism hanging out there in the north. Another indication that there's a long way to go with solar cycle 25. And let's take a look at our line of sight field plot. Earth is currently in a north heliographic magnetic polar region. Because if you look at this, you'll notice that the heliospheric current sheet is highly north polarized there. South pole on the opposite side of the sun. North magnetic solar pole oriented toward Earth. So that's our line of sight field plot. We'll also show our coronal hole line of sight plot. We've got a bunch of North Pole oriented coronal holes here. Let's bring up the latest image and show some animations from SDO. So those are all North Pole oriented, except right up here there's one that's South Pole. All the rest of these are North Pole oriented. Today we've included a composite that's 193 plus 211 angstroms. And let's move to sunspots. So yeah, sunspots. There are still lots. And let's see, 3227. So not sure if we'll have any new named groups today. Wow, there's one at a very high latitude there. 3224. And let's take a look at an animation for the past 24 hours. So here's your SDO continuum animation. Those major groups have been mostly stable. And next we'll talk about relativistic particles and solar flares. So some tiny spikes there in the proton flux, nothing to write home about. Those are the relativistic particles typically associated with large solar flares. And we just did have an M-class flare, a sort of a rather long duration one there that occurred in the northwestern limb. We'll show you where here in a moment. Peak flux of that latest flare, the largest of the past 24 hours, was an M2.69 class flare, and the peak flux was at 12:10 universal time. If you'd like to go make some videos of that, the SDO Browse Data or helioviewer.org are a great choice. Here's the past 24 hours in SDO 94 angstroms, and that flare came from this setting region up in the northwest. We'll also show 131 angstroms, and then we'll show some spectacular close-ups. And thanks for leaving a comment, Mike Bordages. Mike, do you perhaps have notifications turned off for Twitch? As the Twitch app typically works flawlessly. Maybe uninstall and reinstall the app. Not sure on that one. So here we've added 171 angstroms to add a little bit of character. It's great at showing magnetic field force line, potential field surface source lines here in these wavelengths as that plasma aligns to magnetic fields. And let's take a look at some close-ups here. Starting out with the southwestern limb, we're going from area of least to most interest. So there's the southwestern limb. Here's a southeastern limb. Don't forget the northeastern limb. And where the activity is currently the highest, the northwestern limb. Pretty sweet imagery there from SDO, as always, on the channel. And to all of you viewers out there, new and old, congratulations on realizing the channel exists. So we're always interested in what's going on overhead. This is what's going on over Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. You've got the sun, Mercury, and Venus up there. Also the moon, which is in a crescent waning phase. We're about a week from the next new moon. Let's do a solar system forecast. So here is the current situation of the solar system. We do have a crescent waning moon. We're in last quarter here. Let's move this forward 1 week. Here's where things will be in a week. Just coming off of the new moon, as Earth is on a lonely side of the solar system there, devoid of other planets. Although Mercury is making its way around. Next we'll look at coronagraphs, and of course we've got some coronal mass ejections. Are they earthly directed? Well, in short, no. That's yesterday's images from George Mason University. Here are 21 more from today. There is actually a CME propagating as we make the video. It is on the far side of the sun. So here you can see it over on the back side of stereo A. And if you are a new viewer to the channel, Earth would be off in this orientation. We've also got Saturn on the Soho Lasco C3. I believe that's Saturn right there. If you look closely, you'll see it's not moving at the same rate of speed as those other stars because it's a wandering star, otherwise known as a planet. Anyway, no Earth-directed coronal mass ejections here. And let's move to some 24-hour videos. Get a little closer there. And there's the full zoom. There are a few hours of missing data there on Soho Lasco C2 and C3. That's why the SDO imagery remains animated. Soho Lasco C2 and C3 seem to freeze. That's not what really happened. There are just some missing frames there. Next, we'll look at filaments. Again, likelihood of coronal mass ejections, nearly 100% here. We've got an uncountable number of filaments on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. We've got the Hulk Hogan prominence down here. It looks like it's actually getting a little unstable there. It looks like it may have moved a bit. We've also got the Patrick Stewart filament and lots more filaments to name. If you want to name filaments, join us on Twitter. I don't know why I keep saying it, because nobody joins us on Twitter. A completely broken junkware app that Elon Musk fanboy sycophants seem to think is fixed. And before we talk about Twitter, make sure you visit the links below the video. You'll find savings on our Hemp Lucid products. You can use the promo code SMASHOMASH10 to save some cash on checkout. Or you can just use our link to shop and you'll save money that way as well. So check out the products. They are very well liked by our viewership. So if you haven't checked them out, check them out. Perhaps shop by solution, read testimonials and more via our links below the video. So make sure you join us on Twitter. Oh, what's that? I couldn't imagine what that could possibly be. And once again, if you want to name filaments, you're invited to on Twitter, as filaments are an important part of space weather. They can cause geomagnetic storms when they find themselves headed Earth's direction. So we also did a Twitter Spaces last night. It was our first one, and it was highly uninteresting because, well, there was nobody there. It was Smash staff and me, and one guest showed up for about 2 minutes and then vanished. Why? Probably because nobody is able to see our tweets. Why? Because pathetic and disgusting shadow bans continue on Twitter. So Elon, like a complete dolt, tells everybody, hey, shadow bans are a thing. We're going to release a console that tells you about your shadow bans. And then guess what? Never happened. The shadow bans have remained in effect. Because what Elon is essentially stating is that my fascist censorship is better than your fascist censorship. So that's what's going on. It's pathetic. And a lot of people think Elon has repaired free speech on the internet, which couldn't be farther from the truth. He has kept deboosting features in place. What a colossal ass. A guy who does as much harm as good, Elon Musk. Next, our homepage, smashomash.com, and welcome to the Neo Renaissance. It is the official homepage of the Smash team. Smashomash.com. You can find all kinds of links there. Links to the Hemp Lucid shop, Instagram, and a permanent link invite to our Discord chat. Thanks to everybody who supported the channel with clicks. Again, click the links below the video. Help us out that way if you're unable or unwilling to open your cobweb-encrusted wallet and support us directly. If you'd like to see the videos continue to exist and remain publicly visible, become a member of the Smash team, etc. And once again, if we get 50 likes by midnight tonight, we will stream live on YouTube. Otherwise, probably not. Here's the past 24 hours in SDO 304 angstroms. And we'll also show the most recent about 2.5 hours here from GOES 16 SUVI. Again, that latest M-class flare was from this active region up here in the northwest. And don't be surprised to see continued large flares, especially from that area. So the northwestern limb is certainly the most likely place to see major flares. We'll be keeping an eye on it today. We'll be streaming it after this video premieres on YouTube. So that brings us to our bonus features segment. Satellite charging hazards are minor. They are of the surface charging variety in the Central Pacific Ocean, caused by low-energy electrons on the outside of spacecrafts. And here is our GOES electron flux. We did reach about a little over 5 times the warning levels yesterday. 5.45 times warning levels. And here's the NOAA forecast. NOAA expecting lower levels of electron flux there. Must be because a coronal hole high-speed stream is indicated. So that's sort of the forecast there, expecting a minor coronal hole high-speed stream, or perhaps a more major one, I don't know. But anyway, that's the forecast model from NOAA. No arguments from me there. There's the one-year chart to put it in context. And we'll also look at the layer of the ionosphere where that electron flux is measured, the F layer. It's located at about 300 kilometers of altitude. Here's the vibrational frequency of that portion of the upper thermosphere. So that's what's going on vibrationally at the bridge between Earth and space as we bring the coverage closer and closer to planet Earth. That would be our meteorology segment. Here's our anomalygram for the same period of time the previous day. It shows anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. We're seeing quite a few high-frequency anomalies here. And you may be directed to this area right here. That is the South Atlantic anomaly, now back over the South American continent, where it spent quite a long time and then migrated thousands of miles and then snapped back to the South American continent. Is it an indication that the geomagnetic excursion is ending or continuing, or perhaps changing altogether? Let us know in the comments what you think. And if you think magnetism and electricity and things like that control planetary orbits, you're incorrect. Please take Physics 2, electricity and magnetism. That's not the way it works. And once again, I'll state that the universe is not electric. Some things are. Portions of the planet are. Portions of the sun are. Portions of you and I are electric. However, all things are not electric. Otherwise, we wouldn't need the term electric, would we? Can't believe I have to say that, but here's the latest image, 1345 universal time ionogram and 1345 universal time anomalygram. Let's take a look at the total electron content as we've been seeing massive GPS anomalies likely. The total electron content depicts the GPS errors, most likely. That's about a 12,500 mile altitude run. And we're seeing highly anomalous electron contents once again here. So first of all, you might notice these weird low electron bands right there and right up here. Also low electron contents here by the Caribbean and by southern South America. So those are areas of low electron content, anomalously low electron content. And those red areas are the areas where you'd expect to see major GPS errors. So you can expect to see major GPS errors over North America once again. And these will get even more extreme, most likely, if we see electron levels drop further, which is forecasted by NOAA. So if there is a coronal hole high-speed stream on the way, indeed, I would tend to agree. You can expect to see huge GPS errors in perhaps unexpected locations. Don't be surprised to see that. An important feature of space weather, your GPS accuracy. It gives us insight into what's going on in the Earth's magnetic field, electron content, and so on. So here's our rock back. There's the current state of affairs. Once again, most likely place to see large solar flares would be up in this area. And it's time to move to meteorology. If you're wondering where the coldest place in the world is, it's in Siberia. They're seeing temperatures of over 50 degrees below zero up there. This area right here showing up at 52 degrees below zero, Fahrenheit that is, by the way. Colder than Antarctica, and even colder than northern Canada. Siberia, the planet's coldest area. Next, how about the surface winds of the eastern world? This low pressure system's been hanging out, and now it's moved backwards, back toward Kamchatka. An anomalous motion there. And here are the jet streams of this side of the planet. Jet streams of the western world are looking like this. Surface winds of the Americas looking like this. And we show these global weather patterns as we zoom in to the U.S. There are the surface winds of the central world. Shout out to our viewers from all around planet Earth. Again, congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Frankly, we're surprised because we're not ultra-leftists. Apparently, you have to either be some kind of conspiracy theory idiot who doesn't know anything about science or an ultra-leftist to be promoted by YouTube, a platform that pays us just this side of nothing to put out the content. Next, we're looking at clouds and fog over the Americas. So as the sun rises, it's still dark over half that map on the visible satellite, so we use the 3.9 nanometer infrared radiation instead. That's what's going on the western portion of Croissant Earth. And let's take a look at the weather.gov map. We've got some blizzard warnings there in Minnesota and the Dakotas. Also some serious weather warnings around Hawaii there. Looks like some flood advisories over all of the Hawaiian Islands. Hydrologic output, I don't know. Hydrologic output, I guess. Hydrologic outlook. Anyway, we scrolled down to show you the key. If your location's lit, click your location. Lots of weather warnings here at the moment, so let's show some forecasts. These are the next 3 days of temperature anomaly. It's going to be very anomalously warm in the mid-Atlantic states here in the coming days. Yowzers, check it out. We're going to be like 20 degrees Celsius above normal. That's your temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius based on the GFS model for the next 72 hours. Cold temperatures west of the Mississippi and warm temperatures east of the Mississippi. Next, your pressure and precipitation forecast based on the same model. Some ice storms are coming. As a low develops around Oklahoma and then moves up to the northeast, we're going to see some ice storms. So that's your GFS pressure and precipitation forecast. We'll also show total accumulated snow depth forecast since there are some blizzard warnings. Yeah, blizzard warnings. So surprisingly low amounts of snow forecast there, but okay. That's your 72-hour positive accumulated snow depth change forecast in inches based on the same model, the GFS 72-hour. And let's continue on to our windy.com map. So we're going to zoom in here. We're showing snow depth at the moment. Let's just check and see if Greenland is melting. Nope, more than 5 meters of snow there. So, okay. Let's focus on the lower 48 here for a minute and show that's the European. Let's bring this up to Friday. There's the European snow depth forecast. Oh, let's do new snow instead. There's new snow on the Euro model, and there's new snow on the GFS model. So some minor differences there. There's the Euro model. There's the GFS model. And let's take a look at snow here, since we haven't looked at it for a while. So let's see what's going on here in terms of this winter's snowfall. So it looks like it might be another record-breaking winter here for the Northern Hemisphere. So let's start out with the snow water equivalent. We're way over 1 standard deviation above normal snowfall there. That's the 1998 to 2011 average. Very, very high amount of snow here. So you can expect an epic melt season, which could cause some flooding depending on how it plays out. So be prepared for that. This would be the 7th really high Northern Hemisphere snow season consecutively. As far as snow extent goes, it's kind of right in the meaty part of the range there, as we have gone past the likely peak of snow cover extent. It just went back into the plus or minus 1 standard deviation range for that same period of time. And then for snow mass balance here right at the top of the range there for the 1982 to 2012 average. So that's a 30-year average, and that needs to be redone. It should be the 1982 to 2020 average or something like that, or even 2022. Make it a 40-year average, since the past 7 winters would have shifted this upward. We've had now 7 winters in a row of record-breaking snow mass balance. So that's what's going on. That is the snow mass balance for the Northern Hemisphere. That includes, in other words, that's the 3-dimensional impact of snow. Keep in mind it does not include mountains. So it looks like a 7th consecutive winter here of record-breaking snow for the Northern Hemisphere. Next, we'll look at our GOES lightning mapper here. We did have some lightning in Texas and Oklahoma and a little bit in Kansas. At the moment, things are kind of calm. So that is the current state of affairs for lightningmaps.org's data. Things are pretty calm in terms of lightning. Some lightning off the coast of Portugal, though. And by the way, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to press like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, press the share button. Tell your friends and foes about us. We do have videos that aren't about space weather and meteorology, by the way, product reviews, and do one thing, the diamond anvil too hard to smash. Mike wants me to do a Ben impersonation. I don't think I'm going to do that, not today. And if we do receive 50 likes on today's video by midnight tonight, it has to be on the same calendar date the video was released, but if we do see 50 likes, we will stream live to YouTube. I find it unlikely, so press like and increase the probability if you'd like to see us stream live. Next, we're looking at some real-time data here. This is the radar.weather.gov site. Some precipitation there in southern Alaska and also around Hawaii. We'll focus on the lower 48. The lower 48 states of AUSA, the allegedly United States of America, former nation, now banana republic. Once again, congratulations on surviving a global scamdemic so far. There's shortwave radiation that shows clouds and fog because it's dark over here. But that's the current situation. And here is our water vapor map. And we got some moisture moving across the central part of the country toward the Great Lakes. And some dry air here moving across Texas. That's where we'll close things down. And no, I won't be making any references to 9/11 or anything else like that. There's U.S. Doppler radar. It's our recap. There is the clouds and fog view from the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. And there is the water vapor map. That should clear things up. Hopefully we've cleared things up when it comes to space weather and meteorology. Once again, thanks for tuning in and congratulations on realizing the channel exists. We'll see you soon at the Smash News Network least busted name in news. And may that solar wind be at your back.